No, I didn't put on the light. Good afternoon. I just put on the light and pulled the curtain here because it's dark outside, but so you have to sort of take steps to try and see that it's kind of clear, because when the light is coming in from the window and it's cloudy, you can't see. So there was a program this morning on Morning Ireland, and it was the General Secretary of the Communications Union, Mr. Sean McDonough. Sean McDonough, the General Secretary of the Communication Workers Union, and we're talking about the licence fee, and that they were having difficulty dealing with customers and getting insults and this type of thing, and because of the political situation, and then some of the events in RTE by way of the salaries, etc. And Brian Tubridy and some others, and he's gone now, of course. So this is the excuse that Mr. McDonough offered, and the conversation didn't produce what I call facts. So, for example, he says the business about the licence fee was introduced in the 1980s, and according to him, it's not fit for purpose now, which is a very funny statement for the General Secretary, to my way of thinking, to make, as if like he's calling for something else. Because I remember Mr. Rabbit, when he was Minister for Communications, etc., he wanted every household to pay the licence fee in the country. And that was a step too far, quite frankly. He was in RTE quite a bit and was very cosy with them. So people forget about these things, but I'm afraid I don't. I recall that. And as a pensioner, the social welfare, the Department of Social Welfare pays for people that's retired, pays their contributions to RTE. Now, and I inquired into this, and the social welfare pays for certain categories of people and pay their licence fee, but they don't say what categories they are, who are they, and why are their fees paid when everybody else has to pay a fee. What sort of people are they? They don't say. I presume there could be not just Irish, there could be from other jurisdictions that would have a TV and would be entitled to have to pay a licence, but social welfare pays. Now, it's not broken down to see how much the social welfare pays in fees for retired people like me and others that are in receipt of the pension from age 70. So up to that you pay, and we would have paid. And so here we are. He mentioned that we're facing hostility, etc. Well, when you're collecting money from people that mightn't have that much money, depending on if they're living in houses, they're paying through their nose for the house and all the rest of it, and their disposable income is pretty little. Then if they're living in social housing, what they're paying is relatively small compared to what they might pay if they actually bought a house. So these are all situations that all require separate what they call analysis. But the fee for the license fee is 160 a year, and it goes for various other things. Now, um, so and the fee is operated by Unpust, the semi-state body, or maybe it's a full body, but so they operate it, and so the people that work for them would, from time to time, be collecting these licenses. And I'm surprised that he made this business about hostility. He doesn't say where the hostility comes from. It's a general statement, and it doesn't bode well for a general secretary to make an allegation about hostility because of political this or that or the other. You want facts, and for example, how much does RTE get in the license fee per annum? That information wasn't provided, but I looked it up, and they get 196.1 million in 2021, and it was 196.6, so it's down a bit, but not much. So it's nearly 200 million. So it's a fair lump of money, and then they have the advertising. But the thing is, they have to spread it out, the license fee. And for example, they have to give the broadcasting authority 7% of their license fee to them, and 6% to Unpust, and it's just to give you the figures, 160,000. It goes to various things. RTE 1 gets 45 euro 0.8. RTE 2 gets 32 euro 0.07. Radio 1 gets 13 euro 0.06. The 2FM, Radio 2FM, only gets 249. So their budget is fairly small. Radio na Gaeltacht gets much more. It gets 8.32 of this 160. Lyric FM gets a small amount, 3.36, and provide very nice music. That's the only one I listen to. And the orchestras, they have two orchestras, symphony, and I think some other one. They cost 9.15, so they're expensive. €9.15 of the 160. And online services cost quite a bit, 11.16, and other is 7.74, and non-RTE activities 25.20, which is quite a lot. So that's 160. And the minister responsible for it is the Minister for Tourism, Culture, Arts, the Gaeltacht, Sport and Media. Quite a long list, and I just didn't get his name. So the 7% of the above goes to the Broadcasting Authority, and Unpust gets 6% of the license fee, and the Department of Social Welfare pays for pensioners that worked all their life and would have paid, and then they're given some for certain designated people that they pay for them as well, so they don't specify who they are. and what category and what nationality. You'd like to get a breakdown of all these figures so we have a fair idea why the social welfare are paying a license fee for people that are not pensioners. That's a new departure that they have taken. So there's probably a fair clip of the nearly 20 million in the license fee going to RTE, and they have spread it out a fair bit, and then they have to give to the broadcasting authority and on push to implement this system. But I think when you're collecting money like what they do, I think you've got to be prepared that you're not going to get a welcome on the mat. And it says that because of that, they approach it some other way. But I think whatever you're engaged in business, in the business world, you have to contend with various things because it's not always smooth sailing, shall we say. And the same way with these inspectors going to houses and maybe apartments. And they're going to find it difficult in apartments because they won't know who they are or anything like that. And they have to sort of try to find out who they are and um, and their names. So as they have some, they're probably able to get that because and then to find out, be able to find out what's their problem and so on and so forth. And if they've a television license, well, most of them people, everybody nearly has a TV license. A TV is very few that haven't, and but it's the fact that this hostility, the job that they're doing, they're not going to just get it sort of come in and a welcome mat. It's an unpleasant type of job, and then the person, if they're able to lay their hands on the person, they could be, and they don't pay, and they're going to have a TV, they can be fined €2,000. So there's a stiff fine. So they've all these things in their place, and I think when you're doing that sort of a job, you've got to get a certain expertise. When you're dealing with people and looking for a license fee, you've got to be prudent the way you go about, haven't you? And no point in sort of it's because of this and because of that. People maybe are not too pleased with the content of RTE programs. They have seem to have an anti-Christian bias in some ways. They had a prime time video on Monday and investigating not investigating something to do with people that are women that have had abortions and regretted, and then the sort of help they might get from pro-life. But they had an underground business, and they highlighted some problems, what have you, and without looking at the facts of the situation with regard to the killing of the unborn. That's the item, not what people do or don't do when people that have had these abortions have repentance. And but they focused on that, and it looked to me to be as if it was a deliberate ploy to try and gather evidence that to discredit people that are supporting life. And I show of a little picture of a 10-week old, the feet of a 10-year-old baby, and I'm just going to get it and show it to you to show that when you're talking about the killing of the innocent, you've got to focus on that and that type of thing and investigate that and to know why it was permitted and get the facts. And I'll just show you the feet now as we're talking about this. Uh, Now, this is the feet of a 10-week old child in its mother's womb. That's the exact size. And it was promoted. I got it from at a conference there a week or so ago from that marvellous group, Bernadette Smith and her colleagues, the pro-life people in the north of Ireland, Belfast. And that's it. Look, perfectly formed. That's me when I was in my mother's womb at 10 weeks, and that's anybody that's born. That was the shape of their feet. So you can see how they're actually formed at 10 weeks. So RTE should investigate it like that and not be trying to find problems with people, that's trying to provide help for people. I just digress there because it was that prime time, and so I'm mentioning this, but the business of that 160 license fee and their advertising as well, they might want to look at the salary structure that they have and the amount of staff that they have. Do they need all that staff for to operate in this kind of comparatively small country and produce programs that represent and promote the Christian faith and not find fault, which they have done? And that prime time is another example of it. I'm not showing the 10-week-old feet of a child in the mother's womb, carefully formed. Okay, bye now, and I hope we shed a bit of light on this business of the General Secretary, Sean McDonough, of the Communication Workers Union, and his views about hostility and all the rest of it. I think when you're doing what they're doing, you're going to get a certain amount of that. And you've got to have some expertise in dealing with it and saying that it provides a service, and people mightn't like the programs that RTE produce. I don't like them. I never did like them too much, even when I didn't have the choice of other programs. But I look at the Eternal World Truth Network, EWTN. I get some uplift there. I don't want to hear negativity all the time. I want to hear a bit of positive stuff, good news. And it does happen in the world. Bye now, and I hope I shed a bit of light on this discussion that this General Secretary had on Morning Ireland this morning. Bye now.